Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey Cowboys Nation, welcome back to the channel where today we're diving deep into a story that's been making waves across the NFL landscape, especially among the diehard fans of America's team. If you've been following the Cowboys this season, then you know that every game, every play, and every comment carries weight. But what just happened recently? Well, it's a story involving one of our young stars, George Pickens, and a legendary NFL figure, Richard Sherman. And trust me, this one's got everything. Controversy, maturity, rivalry, and a whole lot of potential for what's coming next. So, grab your popcorn because this is not just a simple news update. It's a comprehensive breakdown of what this means for the Cowboys season, their future, and the ongoing saga of NFL rivalries. Let's start with the initial scene. Last Thursday night, during a game that many fans expected to be a showcase of Dallas's offensive firepower, things didn't quite go as planned. The Cowboys faced a tough opponent, and the game was fraught with adversity. The offense struggled to find rhythm. The defense, although resilient, couldn't hold off the opposing team's attack. But what really ignited the controversy was a comment made by Richard Sherman, a player who's no stranger to NFL debates, given his outspoken nature and reputation for honesty, sometimes brutally so. Sherman, during his analysis, didn't hold back when criticizing the Cowboys. He called their performance a dud, a bold statement that immediately drew attention. And what about Pickens? Well, he was directly involved in the game and the controversy. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just another case of a veteran analyst giving his opinion. Sherman's comments were pointed, harsh, and left little room for ambiguity. He essentially suggested that the Cowboys as a team underperformed, and that their offensive players, including Pickens, had fallen short of expectations. His words struck a nerve among Cowboys fans and players alike. But what was truly remarkable was George Pickens's response. Instead of dismissing or brushing off Sherman's critique, Pickens took a different route. He openly agreed with Sherman's assessment, not in a defensive way, but with a tone of humility and accountability. He admitted that he hadn't played at his best and that he understood the criticism. That's a mature move. It shows that Pickens isn't hiding behind excuses, but rather embracing the challenge to improve. This kind of response from a rookie, yes, a rookie who's just beginning to establish himself in the league, is noteworthy. It's a sign of mental toughness and a willingness to grow under pressure. Pickens, who's been a key piece of the Cowboys' offensive puzzle, now faces the crucial task of translating this humility into tangible improvement on the field. The question is, how will he respond in the upcoming games? Can he use this episode as fuel to elevate his game? That's what everyone is asking right now because let's be honest, the NFL is a league where mental strength and resilience often determine the difference between good and great players. Pickens's reaction could be a turning point in his season and perhaps even in his career. But before we go further into the implications, let's take a step back and analyze the broader context. The Cowboys coming into this season were seen as a team with high expectations. The offense, led by quarterback Dak Prescott, had shown flashes of brilliance in the preseason, but consistency remained elusive. The defense, historically strong, was expected to carry a significant load, especially with stars like Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. However, the reality on the field has been somewhat mixed. There have been moments of brilliance. Yes. But also periods of struggle, especially in crucial moments. The game that Sherman criticized in particular exposed some of these vulnerabilities, and that's why his comments resonated so much. Now, looking at the stats, because you know, I love a good stat deep dive. The Cowboys' offense has averaged around 22 points per game so far this season, which is slightly below league average. Dak Prescott has thrown for over 20,000 yards with 14 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, showing flashes of his ability, but also some inconsistency. George Pickens, in particular, has been targeted 45 times, catching 28 passes for approximately 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not bad for a rookie, but certainly room for growth. What's more telling is his drop rate, which has been a concern, and his route running, which has shown promise, but needs refinement. Sherman's critique was likely based on his observation that Pickens wasn't executing at his full potential, especially in critical moments. The real question now is, how does this affect the team's dynamics? Well, for starters, Pickens' public acknowledgement of the critique could serve as a catalyst. It might create a sense of accountability within the locker room, encouraging other players to reflect and push harder. On the other hand, it could also bring some internal pressure. The NFL environment is unforgiving and young players like Pickens are often under the microscope. But if he channels this experience correctly, it could be the turning point that elevates his game, and by extension the Cowboys' offense. Let's not forget the role of Richard Sherman in this equation. Known for his candid and often controversial opinions, Sherman has been a fixture in NFL broadcasting for years. His approach isn't sugar-coated, he tends to call things as he sees them. Some fans love it, appreciating the honesty, while others criticize it for being too harsh or divisive. In this case, Sherman's critique might have been motivated by a desire to see the Cowboys improve, or perhaps it was just his style of analysis. Either way, his comments sparked a debate that's still ongoing. Some say Sherman crossed the line, while others argue that honest critique is essential for growth, both for players and teams. Now, looking at the bigger picture, the rivalry and competitive landscape of the NFL play a crucial role. The Cowboys are no strangers to rivalry intensity. Whether it's their historic matchups with the Washington Commanders or the heated battles with teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, every game carries a lot of weight. The recent comments by Sherman and the subsequent response from Pickens have only added fuel to the fire, making upcoming matchups even more intriguing. Fans are eagerly waiting to see how Pickens responds on the field, whether he can silence critics or if he'll continue to struggle under the spotlight. As we analyze the implications, it's important to consider the team's overall standing. The Cowboys currently sit at a 4-3 record with some close wins and tough losses. They're fighting for playoff spot, and every game counts. The offensive struggles, partially highlighted by Sherman's comments, could hinder their postseason chances if they don't improve. But the good news is that the talent is there. Prescott, with his experience, and young players like Pickens, who has shown flashes of greatness, have the tools to turn things around. The question is, will they and how will they respond to this recent controversy? Now, let's compare the Cowboys to other teams in the NFC. Teams like the San Francisco 49ers and Philadelphia Eagles are currently leading their divisions, showcasing strong defenses and balanced defenses. The Cowboys need to step up if they want to contend with these powerhouses. The addition of a motivated George Pickens combined with the leadership of Prescott and the defensive stars could be the recipe for a strong second-half push. But it all hinges on consistency and mental toughness. Exactly what this recent episode has tested. Looking ahead, the Cowboys have some key games coming up that will be critical in shaping their season. They'll face divisional rivals, tough away games, and must maintain focus amid the media buzz. The next few weeks will reveal a lot about their resilience and capacity to adapt. Will Pickens come out swinging, proving Sherman wrong, or will the pressure weigh on him? The answer to that question could define their playoff fate. As for the future, the coaching staff will need to manage this situation carefully. They'll want to foster a culture of accountability without creating internal discord. The players' mental approach, especially young talents like Pickens, will be vital. Coaches like Mike McCarthy will likely emphasize the importance of learning from criticism and turning it into motivation. Meanwhile, fans will be watching closely, hoping that this controversy becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Let's also consider the broader NFL landscape. The league is more competitive than ever with parity at an all-time high. Every team has its flaws and strengths, and the Cowboys aren't immune to the scrutiny that comes with being a franchise with high expectations. Sherman's comments added a bit of extra spice to the narrative, but ultimately the team's response on the field will decide everything. If Pickens can elevate his game, it might just be the spark the Cowboys need to make a real run in the playoffs. Conversely, if they falter, critics will be quick to point out this episode as a sign of internal issues. In conclusion, this story isn't just about some comments and a rookie's response. It's a reflection of the intense, high-stakes environment of the NFL. It's about resilience, growth, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. For Dallas Cowboys fans, it's a reminder that every season is filled with challenges, both on and off the field, and how they handle adversity often defines their legacy. So, what's next? Well, the upcoming games will be critical, and watching how Pickens responds will be fascinating. Will he become the star that Dallas needs, or will the pressure derail his promising start? Only time will tell. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this entire saga? Do you think Pickens will bounce back stronger, or do you believe Sherman's critique hit the mark? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters to us and to the future of this team. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed this deep dive because it helps us bring more content like this to your feed. And don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications so you never miss a beat on everything Cowboys. Thanks for sticking with me through this long, detailed analysis. Remember, the NFL is more than just a game. It's a story of passion, grit, and rivalry. And the Dallas Cowboys are right at the heart of it all. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and I'll be back soon with more updates, debates, and insights. Until then, Cowboys Nation, keep believing, keep supporting, and let's see what the future holds for our team. Peace out. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Dallas Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates. So stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news.